Welcome to an Equity.Guru Roundtable. And gee, aren't you lucky? It's all about the NFT space today. Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't go anywhere. The NFT space, because you probably want to know what the hell it is. I'm Rob. That's Galen down here in the basement with me over there. There's a bottle of whiskey not far away.
Nope.
He made it himself.
Yeah, in the toilet.
It's actually pretty good. Michelle is in the far corner, the chart attack master, and the author of our NFT expertise today around us on the website is Joseph Morton. And he will initially tell us about, we're going to talk about 4 companies. We can go through them. You can go through them. I'll mention their symbols in a little wee bit, but crank us up on the NFTs so people understand what the hell we're talking about.
Okay. Because, well, quite frankly, we always pretty much have to start with definitions here, because when I say NFT, no one knows what the hell I'm talking about. NFT stands for non-fungible token. Okay. Now, a non-fungible token is a non-interchangeable unit of data stored on a blockchain. So it's basically you're buying the data. Here's a list. Here's a short list of what you get, and here's a short list of what people think you get, but you don't get. Types of NFT data units can be associated with digital files like photos, videos, and audio. They provide a certificate of authenticity and a proof of ownership of themselves. They don't provide legal rights. They don't restrict sharing or copying of the underlying files which they point at. They don't convey copyright, and they don't prevent the creation of other NFTs with the file. So the more you look at this, the more ridiculous it begins to look. I mean, this is coming from me, and I do this. This is my thing. I think this is ridiculous.
Well, because I know like Wayne Gretzky is like selling NFTs of himself. So that just gives you an idea. So instead of like paper trading cards, like celebrities and athletes are selling NFTs of themselves, like digital slices.
Yep. You get this little token, which points to a place in the blockchain where a picture of Wayne can be found, like shooting his 2000s point or whatever.
Right, but you own it, sort of.
No, you own the NFT. You don't own the image.
Yeah, the NFT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of people think this is, oh, cool, I get this image on the blockchain. No, you don't. You get the NFT, and it points at the thing. But everyone else can also own the thing.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's get into the companies. So first one I'm going to talk about, you see there, I should provide a little, transition here, right? Be a little just suave about this. There's some things that with NFTs that can be done and done well. And that the first company I'll get into, which is Coin Analyst, which is COYX on the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission here in BC, is it's one of the newer cryptocurrency companies on the block, and what it offers is their core product is to become the Bloomberg terminal of crypto. They offer a whole bunch of different things, but what they're offering in addition to that is something they call the Passion Account. The Passion Account. And what they do with their terminal is they're cutting out the middleman, in this case for musicians. So what they recently bought a company called Rockstock Equities, which will add an NFT revenue generation function to the platform. So it's basically you can get connected to a smaller artist via this platform, cutting out the Spotifys, cutting out the YouTubes, cutting out the potential is the music industry altogether. I mean, it runs into a lot of the same problems that self-publishing and other mediums comes into. Namely, you got to do your own distribution, and that's a pain in the ass, is what it is. But it is a proper use for the NFT, because you have access to this person's art, but you don't own the art. You own the NFT. It's like buying a CD. You own the CD, but you don't own the art. Now, moving on.
Actually, hold on for a second. I believe we still have this in Canada, but we didn't have it in the States. This is the problem. It's called right of first use. So in Canada, you actually do own the music.
Interesting.
Yes.
So is that how we get sampling, etc.?
That's why it was never really illegal for us to do the downloading and stuff, because we pay for this stuff off the top as well, a tax. I'll look into it, but I mean, that was what the case was, is that we had right of first use.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. That it might be worth looking into a little deeper. But anyway, we'll move on to the second company here. We have Blockchain Foundry, which is BCFN on the Securities Exchange Commission as well. They're a former Equity.Guru client from a long time ago when they were dealing with something called Syscoin, which they still are, but we won't. They're not. That's not what they're doing. What they've done is they've, of course, gone to the NFT space, where I would be talking about. There's a subsidiary called LastKnown.com, which acts as a platform to showcase digital art. Now, these are not big-time, big-name artists. You're not going to see Drake on there, for example. Digital art of Drake. What you have is a guy by the name of Carson Ting, who goes by the name of Chairman Ting. And he's producing NFT art. It's called Billion Buns. It's a little weird. It's something you might see on the side of a subway. But he is not a big-name artist, and this gives him distribution out into a wider framework. And I personally think that's a great use of the technology. Again, you don't own the art. What you do is you get access to it. Now let's move over into the companies that annoy me. The first is called CurrencyWorks. CurrencyWorks is an example of a company that is probably not telling its people what exactly it's getting. Mm-hmm. And what they've done is they set up this charity and they offer these NFTs which connect to these images of classic cars on the internet, and they sell the NFTs for exorbitant prices. Like, whatever, if I got to pay $10 for a picture of a car, I'm not doing that. That's too much. But if I can pay like $1 or $2, probably still not doing that. But I mean, like, pay 30 cents or whatever someone else is willing to pay, that's fine. But in this case, we have a 1979 Porsche 928 risky business movie car, which goes for $5,700. Someone's paying $6,000 for a bundle of smart contracts, which points to an image of a car which they don't own on the blockchain, and they're probably not telling people all this stuff. Like, you don't own this image; you own this block of NFT, this block of smart contracts, and that is one of the things that annoys me. I'm decently sure they're not telling people what this is. Now, the final company we're going to approach today is called ColorStar Technology, and it's one of the examples of the companies which are getting into the metaverse. And the metaverse is basically consists of NFTs in large capacity. There are other aspects, but everything you buy, everything you sell, everyone you interact with, all the avatars, all the trees you have in your yard itself, the house you helps you build, you want a dog, they're all NFTs. I mean, the metaverse has a lot of potential. I have a hard time seeing all of it, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. But I see avenues where people could potentially go in and they could produce some variety of digital store, presumably where they provide some variety of service. But for right now, I look at this kind of thing and I go, how is this not a scam? Well, at least right now, because I can't really find any answers. I mean, it seems like so much terrible video games. Anyway, what I want to do is I pointed out a couple companies here, and I want to get Galen's view specifically. I was kind of hoping I could tee him up on a few of these things. So by all means, I mean, this is probably my favorite part of the roundup.
All right. Well, first off, let me clarify what I was mentioning earlier, just so I had to get it in my head correctly, and this is why we were able to, in a certain way, deal with downloading music off of Napster and stuff, and uploading music. It was not illegal for us to upload, but It wasn't really, yeah, it was such a gray area because we played a tax on all of our media, which apparently was supposed to go back to the artists that were doing the work and therefore sort of eliminated that as a criminal offense. However, because there's no real borders in digital interaction, there was a huge sort of gray area in that. But the thing that I was talking about is the first sale doctrine, meaning that if I purchase something, whatever I purchase, I have the right to do with as I will, meaning that I can sell, I can display it, I can also dispose of it. Doesn't necessarily mean that I have the right to unauthorize or to reproduce it without authorization, however. So there's where the cutoff is. That's where we exist, where the Americans do not at this point in time. Now, NFTs. Wow, digital baseball cards. Holy shit. You can have something that's completely fucking useless and you can spend your entire life savings on it, hoping that some idiot, the greater fool than you, is going to turn around and allow you to make money. Right now, the market is being inundated with these offerings, and mostly they're fucking 8-pixel pictures of fucking gorillas. And who wants that shit after about 10 days, right? This is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And the idea that it's spreading out into the metaverse, which is a whole other fucking game entirely, where people are selling virtual property. What the fuck are you thinking? I mean, seriously, what kind of derivative? How far into the derivative do you have to go? To something that is absolutely fucking non-existent in any physical form, and you're going to purchase it. There's no guarantee, as with NFTs, that anybody else is not going to just take that fucking picture and take it home. You own it. Big fucking deal. You want a pat on the back? There you go. That's about how much it's worth. All right. So
there's even mortgage brokers now for property for the metaverse.
Yeah, and this is ridiculous. This is all part of the wave of a new technological sort of fervor within the market. People that, for instance, 3D printing, there were all sorts of things being put out. I can do this, we can do that, we can combine with businesses. And what really needed to happen is a complete cultural shift for kids to actually get involved with a 3D printer, see what it was for, not be afraid to fail, and actually build things that make sense to their lives. This is going to be another 10 or 15 years into the making. And at that point, 3D printing will actually become a thing, but it won't until that point. NFTs are a whole other game entirely. This is bluff and bravado that will lead to nowhere. This is just bullshit for bullshit's sake. This is CODs times 10. This is fucking ridiculousness. We remember all the comics rage growing up in the 80s, where people were going out and buying comics and going, I can turn this thing around for $300 or $400. I only purchased it for $5. Well, you know what? As soon as people began to realize, just with tulips, that these things are completely fucking useless in the real world, the whole market just dropped right off the edge. Sure, there's some value to it, but only amongst a very few ardent collectors. That's the same thing with these NFTs. So you've got companies like, this color technology? Color Star. There we go. Where you can't even find fucking financials on later than 2020, which they didn't make any fucking revenue at all. Sounds like a great company. Second one is Currency Works, which is a Canadian company. Again, this is the idea these companies sell. We'll do everything. We've got some cryptocurrency here. We've got some rights management over there. We're going to sell you some tokens over here. It's just a bunch of bullshit. It's about the same thing that's going on with psychedelics and as went with cannabis. Just say that you're going to do anything and everything and people come flocking to your door. As far as intake is concerned, revenues are concerned, I think they were the ones. Were they the ones? Hold on 2 seconds. I'm going to take a look here. Blockchain. Where's the other guys? Sorry, I brought up financials on these guys just to see how shitty it all was. Currency Works. They claim to have assets worth $8 million, and they made $168,000 in revenue for a quarter. That doesn't match up. That doesn't make sense. That means you've just invested in a lot of shit that's never going to move, and that's what you're going to actually make off of it. Same thing if you take a look at Blockchain Foundry, which basically at this point in time is just a grab all. We'll do anything. Whatever you think is going to be worth something, we do it. We're just going to get in there. We don't really know how. We'll just give you a couple of fucking platitudes and make this sale. As far as I'm concerned, anybody that gets caught up in the NFTs rage is completely lost the fucking plot. There's really no ownership beyond just identifying who owns what. But you don't really know that, and you can't really back it up any better than you would if you just went through a fucking copyright protector. It doesn't improve the situation at all. direct interaction between artists and fans, you can do that through Bandcamp. You don't have to go through fucking Spotify. You don't have to get an NFT and a blockchain thing going either. Because as soon as they take your music, they're just going to fucking rip it off anyway. So why the hassle? All right, there we go.
Yeah, I've seen people too, like post pictures of their NFT, and then someone will copy it or take a picture of it, and people get really angry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another problem with it.
I've done that
is
in
that
every
you
article
have
I've written
companies
about NFT
minting
so far.
other people's work as their own NFTs. That's
I wrote
fucked
about
up.
currency last week, right? What I did is I took a picture of every car. Like I went online and a Google image search, and I found an image of every car they're selling, and I said, "Congrats, you're welcome. I just saved you $12,000."
Yeah, well, I mean, this one company's talking about having a partnership with this motor. Who was that? Color Star? It was fucking Color Star. I think they're a bunch of idiots. Yeah, where was it? Color Star? Or was
Probably
it
Currency
fucking
Works.
Currency? Ah, yes, it was Currency Works. I know Alex Ponovic, by the way. It's not a great movie, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Alex. That's fine. You're a great guy, but let's face it. The Moto Club, the music effects, they've got a country star on there. Yeah, fuck. Kodak. Yeah, get your pictures. You can do that anywhere. Just find a site and do a copyright agreement with them. That's basically all you're doing. It's just fucking baffle-gab and bullshit.
I think I'd rather have Mickey Mantle's rookie card.
Exactly. At least you have something physical that anybody can't just go, here's the picture, right? It's there. It's in your hands. It's real.
And yeah, funny enough, man, it always comes down to that when we talk about cryptos or anything, hard asset, right, versus a digital copy, I guess.
This whole metaverse has gone completely way out of fucking whack. They've got
you have no
psychedelics
idea.
companies offering their psychotherapy services over the metaverse. One of the key ingredients in fucking professional therapy is reading visual cues. If you're talking to an avatar, how the fuck are you going to do that?
You can easily go down a rabbit hole if you spend too much time on Reddit. You can actually watch people brag about how they flipped a metaverse property. It's like, what? Who bought it from you and why?
It's the greatest example of the greater fool theory that's in existence. And it really is just a sucker's bet. People that got in on the beginning, great. Wall Street's bet guys that are calling the just short squeezes on GameStop and shit. First guys in, made shit tons of cash. Everybody else became a bag holder. That's what's happening with NFTs.
Michelle, is there stocks worthy of discussing?
Yeah, there's a few charts here. Before we do that, though, I'll just quickly mention some of the top collectible and tokens and crypto coins used for NFTs and collectibles. Here they are. You can see they're all green today. They're all sort of moving in tandem here. The charts look quite similar. And, just going back to what Galen's said here, and I guess Joseph as well. But I see this all as it just shows you how crazy, this current macro environment is, where people are just trying to make money any way possible. There's a lot of people flooding into NFTs. There's always a new NFT project coming out. And it's all based on hype and, trends, and corporations are cashing in. Not just corporations, celebrities as well. You talked about Wayne Gretzky, but, Floyd Mayweather has his. A lot of teams are doing their own stuff now with the Golden State Warriors, Miami Heat. They have their own NFTs. I know WWE has their own NFTs as well. So it's a cash grab, I guess you can call it that. But everyone is jumping in, because if there's something new, people take a look at it or they consider it as the next hot trend. It does tie in with the metaverse here. So to me, it just sort of shows just how crazy things are, where people are, buying this kind of stuff. The speculation that people are buying this kind of stuff just because they're trying to make it big and flip it. Flip it really quickly. And
that's the thing about this. None of it is about actual ownership. It's all about speculation.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all speculation. This NFT is going to bring me, and I know people who've made 5 figures on some of these NFTs, and usually it's because, hey, Logan Paul tweeted about it, or made a YouTube video about it, and the next day I woke up and my $300 was all of a sudden $20,000. But that's sort of this hype that's going on. And, I know personally like two people who become millionaires selling their own NFTs. So as long as, you get the hype on it, and you get that, I guess you create some sort of demand for it, which, believe it or not, there's people who do this. You can make it big in the NFT space, and a lot of people are looking into creating their own NFTs. And this is a marketplace. Like I said, it is crazy, but believe it or not, there is actually a marketplace and a group of retail crowd that is still chasing some of this. And some of the NFTs, we've talked about the crazy stuff, which are going for 6 figures. So if we look at some of the the top ones here, I know Team Azuki is this Japanese sort of style top art, but 8 Ethereum, what is that, about $28,000? So there are, this is just a 5-figure number, but there's a few that are going for much more than that, like in the 6 figures. And it's
beyond stupid.
I find it strange. I'm a bit shocked, but there are some NFTs that do go for, I guess you could call it, reasonably priced, like under $20, under $50. And I think a lot of people are heading towards that direction where, hey, if I get this cheap NFT, it's cheap compared to, some of this Team Azuki stuff or whatnot. And then they have this whole rarity and all that kind of stuff that's involved. So yeah, it is a speculation. And it's interesting to watch for me, but I know there's a big crowd of people who are into it and watching it. And this week we talked about cryptos. Actually, on last week, I believe on Thursday, I had an article on XRP and this crypto space. And this week, the cryptos opened up very, very strong. Here's a chart of Bitcoin, and then I have some of the NFT collectible token ones here with Mana and Sandbox, and they're following along. So there seems to be this big push here in the crypto digital asset market, I guess you can call it, with everything here finding a bit of a gain. And we'll see if this is going to be a sell the dip still, right? Sell the pop or sell the rip. Yeah, sell the rip. That's what it's called. If it's going to be a sell the rip, case here in a few days. But if you look at Mana, if you look at Sand, a lot of the charts for these companies sort of look, have a similar sort of market structure. If you zoom in or zoom out, to them, and essentially they're all looking like they're about to break out. They're all looking like they're about to pop. Maybe not currency works here, but it has the same sort of structure. But you can see here, Color Star Technologies looking to maybe break out about 50 cents there, and they do have earnings actually coming out. It looks like today, the 7th of February. So I'm not sure if that's already out. But yeah, ColorWorks or Color
Well, it
Stars
won't be hard for them to beat 2020 because they made fuck all in 2020.
Yep. And then, Coin Analyst is something that's relatively new, and it does look like it might be finding some base here. And then, of course, you have your Blockchain Foundry, which has a bit more price action, going back since 2019. And again, very similar where all these charts are just basing, and maybe there's a bit of a pop here going on. But, just me personally, I would maybe be just sticking with, speculating on the cryptocurrencies themselves rather than the actual, NFT or whatnot. But I do believe it is sort of this hit and miss, almost like, trading cards per se, right? Where if you're lucky to get one of these NFTs that's about to get really popular, or if you get one that's really, really rare, yes, you can make unbelievable gains in the NFT space. But it's not something, you can analyze and say, okay, this is going to be good, this is going to be great. I think a good example, though, is sticking with pop culture. So do you guys know that, that TV show Netflix, Squid Game? But essentially, right when that show came out, everyone was hyped about it. And then there was an NFT with those, those little, I think it's called dalgun or something in Korean, but like those little biscuit things, the sweet biscuits, and you have to draw a shape or cut a shape out. So basically what, someone made that NFT and became a millionaire because that was very popular in pop culture. So, that's the way to approach this. If you're a designer of NFT, you look for things that are going to be trending, and you go and create it, and there's a marketplace for it. So Strange one for me. Yeah, it's definitely a strange one for me. I don't really dabble too much into NFTs, but personally, I would just stick with speculating on the crypto side.
Joseph, are you going to spend any money on this?
No. Long story short, just no.
No.
I mean, I had a look at the charts, and I see there's a whole lot of companies that are ranging around really kind of tired variances. I mean, the charts are pretty much going in a straight line and then either up or down. And so I'm not going to make money if I try to speculate or if I try to invest. I don't think these companies are necessarily going to zero, but I don't know what's going to happen. And like I said, I don't see a lot of price action that I care about for speculation reasons. Yeah. I'm with Vishal on this. I mean, there's a lot more money to be made in sand and mana than there is in companies that are actually dealing with the metaverse itself. Like, get the coin, which you use to spend in the metaverse itself. That's where you make your money.
Dalen, do I need to even ask you if you're spending a penny on this?
Maybe he's surprised with us.
Not necessarily. No, you don't.
He's all in.
The reason, yeah, of course. The reasoning on this is that it is just fucking comic books, and in about 6 months, it'll be dead as a doornail. Now, the fact is that there still will be a few that are made, but as the market fucking saturates, everybody and their dog. When everybody and their dog is doing it, nobody's special. So you're only going to have maybe 1 or 2 NFTs that actually do anything, and the rest of them are just going to be fucking clamoring for just being noticed. It's not going to be a living at all. Just like all the guys that sold their houses and mortgaged themselves to the hilt to buy comic books back in the early 80s. It fell apart almost immediately. As far as the uptrend in current in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is concerned, I don't think it's a long trend. I think it's just more or less a revealing of the desperation amongst investors and people in general to find any sort of yield that they can on their dollar, and they don't give a shit about anything. Speculation in 1929 went through the fucking roof, and everybody thought, just as it was climbing, like, oh, we're in the clear, everything's great. And then it all went to shit. So I really don't, I'm not putting a fucking dime down at all. Buy silver, run into a cave. There you go.
All right.
You need a token to protect your silver.
So you're saying this is kind of like the pet rock and the mood ring.
Big time.
And, so it's not going to last. But then again, you might be underestimating the overall stupidity of the public in 2022.
Well, that's the thing, right? The only infinite things in the universe, because the universe itself is finite, is greed and stupidity. So
correct. And Vishal, you spending a penny?
No, I mean, I'm with Joseph. I think, sticking with just the tokens is probably the better way to invest if you are going to trade or hold for the long term. But the NFT Marketplace, I think, is going to still be around here, believe it or not, because the marketplace is, still there, and more companies and more celebrities are coming out to post or create their own NFTs. And there's still a marketplace. There's still a retail crowd that trades it. Although I will say that, a few months ago, everyone was sort of talking about NFTs, and it seems like that's dying down a bit now. But there's still a large amount of people who've made tons of money on NFTs and are out there pumping, new projects and new NFTs and trying to get hype around it. So I think it's going to be around.
I made $10 million selling real estate. Come to my seminar and I'll teach you how to do it.
Exactly
too.
Right. Yeah. Hey, man, that's the meme economy, right? It might be like that, but yeah,
and it's not even real estate.
Yes, exactly.
We used to be joking when we said, "I'll sell you some swamp property in Florida if you're interested." Now you can actually do it.
Some real estate on Pluto, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, some real estate on
Metaverse
Pluto.
is called Florida, and I got some swamp land. I also got the Brooklyn Bridge over here. I'll sell you them both.
There you go.
Buy the Brooklyn Bridge.
As long as I got the NFT, man, I'm happy.
Right.
All right. Well, we're going to tell people now to go ahead and research on their own and to look into it, because you never know. You might be interested in trying to pump something up and make a little do-si-do. But right now, our fellows are not spending any money on it. So it's a 0-0-0 across the board, which sometimes happens. And that's just the way that it is. But we were talking about, I'm going to run through these anyway, just so people have that information. It's Color Star Tech. No, which one did we drop? Did we drop
Color Star Technology? No, we didn't drop that one. We didn't drop that one.
ESCW on NASDAQ. Currency Works is CWRK on the Canadian exchange.
Blockchain Foundry.
Blockchain Foundry is BCFN on the Canadian, and Coin Analyst is COYX on the COYX on the Canadian exchange. There you have it, peoples. Do some homework. We can't guarantee anything that we've said.
No.
In this case, we wouldn't be steering you in the wrong direction.
No, we wouldn't. But I am a grumpy old bastard, so.
Hey, if you make money on your own, knock yourselves out. Heck yeah. All right, that's it. We'll see you on the very next Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.